Are you ever worried about a family member who seems completely lost? Well, today's episode is all about finding hope in challenging situations, and we're going to explore some real life stories of unexpected transformations, including my own, and discuss practical ways to support your loved ones without sacrificing your well being. Welcome back to Fulfillment Therapy, the podcast dedicated to helping parents improve their mental health, wellness, and life fulfillment. I'm your host, Kendra Nielsen, and today we're discussing a topic that resonates with many overwhelmed parents and spouses, which is finding hope and letting go when our loved ones struggle. I want to start by sharing a personal story that illustrates the incredible potential for change, even when things feel hopeless. When I was a teenager, I was far from a model student. Honestly, and embarrassingly enough, I skipped school quite a bit. I hung out with a rough crowd for a little while there, and I barely graduated. I think I graduated with something like a 2.4 GPA. My mom was worried about my future. But a pivotal experience at a camp put on by my church really changed everything for me. I met peers who shared my beliefs, and for the first time, I didn't feel alone. This led to a complete 180 in my life. I changed my behaviors, I improved my grades, and eventually graduated from college with honors, which I never would have anticipated, seeing the past as an indicator. So this transformation was not easy. It was not smooth, but it does show that we never truly know the end result. Even when a loved one seems like they're lost or they're struggling, there is always potential for positive change. So my story is not unique at all. History is full of examples of people who showed little promise early on, but went on to achieve great things. I love those stories. I soak them up because it gives me hope even still that so much is possible, not only for me, but for my clients, for my loved ones, for other people that I care about. Now, I know you know a few of these examples, but I want to share them with you because they're wonderful reminders of what is possible. So you've probably heard a little bit about Albert Einstein. He was often talked about as being a poor student, and he really struggled with the rigid educational system during his time. He failed his first attempt at the entrance exam for school, yet he went on to completely revolutionize our understanding of the universe with his theory of relativity. I was actually just reading something else recently that talked about what a terrible teacher he was because he was just so far beyond what his students could understand, and he was very unimpressive in that way. And that just kind of makes me laugh because we all have our areas of genius, and yet he was not a great student and he was a terrible teacher, but he completely changed our world. Another example you've probably heard of is J.K. Rowling. Now, before becoming one of the world's most successful authors, she was a single mom living on welfare. She faced so many rejections before Harry Potter was finally published, and her journey, especially from that struggle to that success, is a major testament to perseverance. You probably have also heard a little bit about Steve Jobs. Well, he dropped out of college and was once fired from the company that he co-founded. I really liked a documentary on this that when I was watching it, I was just dumbfounded by all of this. And yet he returned to lead Apple and become one of the most valuable companies in the world, and he revolutionized multiple industries along the way. Or what about Walt Disney? He was fired from his first job at a newspaper for, I love this part, lacking imagination. Later saw his animation studio called Laugh-O-Gram go bankrupt. But he did not let this deter him. He later moved to California and co-founded the Disney Brothers studio, and eventually created some majorly iconic characters and theme parks and became a global entertainment legend. Well, another one of the big ones is Michael Jordan. Cut from his high school varsity basketball team as a sophomore, that rejection deeply motivated him to becoming one of the greatest basketball players in history and an NBA Hall of Famer. Now, these are all quite extreme examples, I get that. And yet it reminds us of what is possible as we are becoming And we never know what that thing is that's going to be fuel for us to take us to the next level. It's natural to want to control and to fix everything for our kids. But sometimes that most powerful thing that we can do is simply to let go. And here are some simple strategies to do that, because I know firsthand from talking with my clients that that is no easy task. And I know that from being a mother myself. But the first thing that you can do is practice that unconditional love. This is where you show your loved one that your care or your support are not dependent on their achievements or their behavior. And this creates the safe space for them to grow and change. And as I was coming up with this episode, I was thinking about what really helped me in that stage to pivot to gaining that momentum and being able to change my life around. The second thing you can do might sound a little trite, but it's what helped me. You can be an earthly angel. So, like those that helped me along the way, you can be a positive influence. Now, for me, this was them offering to support me without nagging or micromanaging. Like, they were very proactive, not just like, let me know when you need help. But they're like, I think it'd be really good for you to go off to school and leave these things at home behind and just start fresh. And I'm going to help you do that. Like, they would get my buy-in. They wouldn't just like make me do things, but they would ask me questions. They would counsel with me. They'd listen to me. And then they would help me carry those out, because I didn't have the confidence yet to do some of those things. I needed hand-holding a little bit, but first they needed to get my buy-in. Now, with some people, you might be able to be more effective and less so with others. So, for example, if they have somebody that they just really admire, this child of yours, and they're not going to be receptive to you, they might be receptive to that person. And you can reach out to them and be like, hey, these are my concerns. This is what I'm wondering about. And it takes a village to raise a child. And I noticed that you're really effective with them. Is there any way you'd be willing to have that conversation or find out what it is that can be done to help them move to that next step that will help them thrive? Something like that. Another thing you can do is break things down. So help your loved one tackle those challenges by breaking them into small, tiny steps, because likely they just feel like it's impossible, like I did. Like I was too far gone. There's no way I could get into school. There's no way I could possibly change my grades around or change my social circle or any of those things. It just felt too big and too much. So again, if you don't feel like you can reach them, you can help introduce somebody else to them that might be able to reach them. Another thing you can do is foster that belonging. Remember, that was what was really pivotal for me in changing my life around. So you can help them find a community or maybe activities where they can connect with like-minded people or people that they could become if they're hanging out with the wrong crowd. So this could be a faith group, this could be a hobby club or a service organization, whatever it might be. Just get their buy-in though, and don't force them, but explore that with them. And maybe you're not the best person to have that conversation. Maybe somebody else could have that conversation with them if they're feeling like maybe your love has been a little bit conditional in the past, or if they feel estranged from everyone right now as they're disappointed in themselves. Remember, my friends, change is always possible, even if it's not visible right now. I was pretty pathetic, and I don't mean that in a terrible way. Like, looking at me, nobody would have had a lot of confidence or hope in me. And there was no reason to think that I would change anytime soon. Now let's talk about the art of letting it go, the hardest thing for us to do. So letting go does not mean giving up, my friends. It means accepting that we can't control everything and focusing on what we can influence. So here's just a few tips on how to do that. You can focus on your own growth or your own side of the street. Use this time to work on your personal development. And as you become more fulfilled, you'll be better able to help those around you, your loved ones, your child, whoever that might be. You can also practice mindfulness. This, again, is not a trite thing, but it actually works. So you can stay present in the moment instead of ruminating so much and worrying about the future or your loved one. You can practice that deep breathing, and you can practice those mindfulness exercises to be able to let go. And also, last but not least, seek out a therapist if you need help. Seek out a community to help both you and your child thrive if you're stuck. There's no shame in that. And if anything, It is so beautiful because it's an opportunity for growth. And when you put aside your pride, you open up the doors for you and your family to heal in ways you never imagined. Eckhart Tolle says this: sometimes letting things go is an act of far greater power than defending or hanging on. So this is especially true when it comes to our loved ones' journeys. There's so much more power in that than defending or hanging on. But it is not easy. I recognize that. How do we maintain hope? So in those dark times, it's crucial to maintain that hope in our child or in our loved one. And here's why. Hope is a catalyst for change. It gives us the energy and the motivation needed for that transformation. I think back on my experience and how bleak everything looked. But when people believed in me, I started to believe in myself. The second thing is hope is contagious. Your hopeful attitude really can inspire your loved ones, your enthusiasm for life. Now, it won't always do so. I think about my brother and that last conversation I had with him, my youngest sibling, before he died. It was sharing my hope and my desire for him to get help. And I shared how much I loved him and believed in him. And all of those things were wonderful. And I'm so glad that I could share with him before he died. And yet it didn't change him, at least not enough for him to go seek help. But instead of that haunting me, that gives me peace, knowing that I can't control everyone. And maybe I did lose my brother to addiction. And yet I can't control him. But anytime you give someone else hope, there is beauty there. All is not lost. Now, maybe my brother is not around still to grow and to thrive, and I didn't fix everything with sharing that hope with him. And yet I believe there's opportunity in the future. I know we all have different beliefs here, but I believe that there's more to this story and that there will be opportunities in the future for more healing. The third thing about maintaining hope is that hope reduces stress. So when you maintain that positive outlook, that can significantly reduce your own stress levels. I think about my clients that really ruminate and just stuck in that worry for their spouse, their loved one, whoever it is. And it gets them very stuck, where then they are focusing so much on somebody else's side of the street, which they can never control and not their own. And it keeps them in that victim cycle, and it keeps them stuck and prevents them from progressing themselves. Michelle Obama said this: "You may not always have a comfortable life, and you will not always be able to solve all the world's problems at once. But don't ever underestimate the importance you can have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious, and hope can take on a life of its own." Again, going back to my story here, I did not have a lot of hope as a teenager. And yet, the hope of others was enough to get me through those dark times until I was able to cultivate it myself. And the same goes for your loved one. Now, we all have different paths, and we're further along or further back than others. And yet, these things can only help the situation. Now, they might not end in a happy ending every time like I wish they would, like in the case of my brother. And yet, I still don't regret that. Because the last thing I said to him allowed me to live without regret, knowing that I did what I could and the rest was up to him. And the same goes for you and your loved one. All right, now let's break this down really quickly, the things that we discussed today. So personal transformation is always possible, even when things seem hopeless. Letting go is not giving up. It's focusing on what you can control. Unconditional love and support create this safe space for growth and change, and will help your loved one in ways you probably don't see right now, but will likely become clearer in the future. And last but not least, maintaining hope is so important for both you and your loved ones. It may just be the thing that will give them that extra momentum towards change in ways you could never imagine. My friends, your journey as a spouse or a parent is unique, so please be patient with yourself and your loved ones. Change may not happen overnight, but with that love and that support and that hope, incredible transformations truly are possible. Thank you for tuning in to Fulfillment Therapy today. Don't forget to check out our website And all the places you can find us in the show notes. Again, we have those 3 wellness courses and those 3 business courses that are either available right now or will be shortly. We have a personal growth course, we have a parenting course, and we have a marriage course, as well as 3 courses that will help you from the very beginning stages to the very end stages, will help you build a podcast and an online business that will help you become your best self and spread positive ripples in this world. So go check those out. So click on the links in the show notes to find us and take your life to the next level. I'll see you back here in just a few days with a new episode that will help you take your life to the next level and create greater life fulfillment. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, chances are someone else would too. Would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who's looking for greater family fulfillment? And while you're sharing, tell me what you think about the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It refuels me when I hear this podcast is helping you, no matter what your house or your hair looks like. I'll meet you back here every Monday and Thursday morning for more episodes. Until then.